Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Unboxing the Vinyl. I'm your host, Tim Bianconi. Today is February the 19th, and the third in the Red, White, and Blues Trilogy from Whitesnake has been released today. And for the first time out of these three, I actually have the album on the day it was released. Yay! Amazon finally got it right. So just to give you a little backstory, back in June of 2020, Whitesnake released the first in the set, which was the White album, or the White album of the series, called the Rock Album. This featured the best rock songs from anywhere from 1984 slotted in all the way through 2011's Forevermore, and actually even featured an unreleased track from the Flesh and Blood Sessions, which is the album that came out also in 2020 or 2019. It might have been 2019, I'm not sure. I'll post a correction up there, I'm sure. And then, following that, in November, they released the Red album of the three, which is entitled Love Songs. It's basically exactly what it says, just a series of love songs from that same series of albums from 1984 until 2011. So what we have now is the Blues album, which will obviously be a blue record cover. Let me see if I can spit that out. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right. Nice. All right. So here we go. Hopefully I'm holding this somewhere where everybody can see it. I had a really hard time getting my angles right for this particular video. So there is the cover of Whitesnake the Blues album. Here is the back cover. It pretty much follows the same patterns as Love Songs and the Rock album as far as the format and the way the albums look. Because again, these are part of a series. So there you go. So let's see if I can get this open without a lot of headache. Probably not. Oh, maybe. Okay. Alright, might have to edit some of this out. How was everyone? The weekend's coming up, you know, you've got some new music coming out, or in this case, you have some remixed yeah, I guess just some remixed music coming out from Whitesnake. So, okay. Once again, without the shrink wrap, here is the cover of the Blues album, the front cover. Here is the back cover. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what's inside here. And again, much like the previous two, and you can catch those videos on my YouTube channel as well, much like the other two, the inside is pretty much the same. You know, on one side over here, you've got some information about each song, you know, maybe like, you know, the writing or, you know, what was going on, or maybe, you know, what they did to, you know, spruce it up for these releases. And then on the other side over here, it looks like you have a lot of the liner notes as far as, you know, the special things, production, this, that, and the other. And then, of course, you have covers from all the albums represented. And again, like I said, this ranges anywhere from 1984 slotted in all the way through 2011's Forevermore, and even includes tracks from David Coverdale's solo record, Into the Light, that came out in 2000. So yeah, you know, another great compilation. I actually did download a digital copy of it. So I have listened to it. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. So let's just go ahead and pull out the record. And I'm sure, much like the other two, you know, the Rock album being the white part of this trilogy, the vinyl was white. The Love Songs being the red part of this trilogy, the vinyl was red. So I'm sure this will be blue vinyl, and I can kind of already see that it is. So let's take a look here. All right, so let's go ahead and pull the record out. Fancy. And that looks pretty badass right there, you know, just that shade of blue on this vinyl. So again, the front cover here, just, you know, Whitesnake the Blues album, sticker in the middle, nothing too fancy there. And then on the flip side, on side 2, it has the track listing for both sides of this particular record in the set. So that's really, really cool. I'll do my best not to touch the vinyl for all you assholes out there that like to tell people like, oh, you got your fingers all over it, as if I don't know how to clean a record. Sorry. I'm still bitter about that. Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at the other side. And let me just double check in here. I didn't see any sort of, oh, here we go. We'll come back to this. Make sure there's no inserts on the other side. I don't think there was. There is not. All right. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be much the same other than the sticker in the middle on side 3. So let's go ahead and pull this out. Again, same white vinyl, and unfortunately I see a couple black marks on this particular one, so I may have to send this back. But there is side 3. It has a different sticker in the middle with the Whitesnake logo. That's pretty cool. And again, much like the other one, on side 4, it includes the track listing for both sides of this record. Like I said, there's a black mark or something like right there, so I don't know if that's something like maybe bled over from the sticker or what that is. I'll double check, make sure the record plays. If I have any issues with it, I'll send it back to Amazon, and we'll once again be upset because I don't have a good copy of the album on the actual day it came out. But you know, we'll look at that and see what happens. Okay, so the last piece inside the packaging here would be the lyric sheet. So again, you know, pretty basic. This is the songs from the first record of the 2. It has all the lyrics and everything. And then on the flip side would be all of the songs from the second record of the set. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, so let me just slide that back in here. Slide it back in or slide it in. Pun not intended. I don't know. Okay, so once again, there's the front cover. There's the back cover. Here is the inside. Now I want to, I kind of want to talk about the record a little bit because, like I said, I did purchase a digital copy of it, and I did kind of make some mental notes that I wrote down. So, a couple things. Much like the previous 2, this does include songs from a couple of records that may be lesser known in the Whitesnake David Coverdale catalog. The first one would be 1997's Restless Heart. It was released pretty much in every major country with the exception of America. It's never actually been formally released in America, but you can pick it up on Amazon. I'm sure you can find it on the pirate sites, whatever. Pretty cool album. Was meant to be David Coverdale's first solo record, but the record label made him tag the Whitesnake name onto it. But some of those songs are included on here, much like they were on the previous 2. In fact, the version, let's see... Woman Trouble Blues, one of my favorite songs from Restless Heart, is included on here. And I will say, much like the previous 2, the Restless Heart remixes on here give new life to those songs. The one complaint I had about that record, as great as it was a little flat. And maybe because it wasn't meant to be a Whitesnake record, so it wasn't necessarily produced or recorded the same way. But they have snaked them up just a bit for these compilations. So I think that's a great thing. Again, Woman Trouble Blues. Let's see. What is... Take Me Back Again, if I'm not mistaken, is also from Restless Heart. If not, I'll post a correction up here. And then there's another one that I'll get to in just a second. But I do like those mixes. And actually, his solo record, Into the Light, which I said came out in 2000... there's a couple of songs from that album on here too. Most notably, a song called "The River Song," which is one of the opening tracks on "Into the Light." And on here, with some extra layers and some remixing and all that, really brings out the sound of what I always thought was a great song. But again, the production on "Into the Light" to me kind of felt like it was real high pitched, like there wasn't a lot of low end to it, so it kind of made it hard to listen to for me personally. But the remixes sound great on here, so hopefully it's... In addition to that, there are a couple of dupes on here that were on some of the other records. And, initially, one of them is a song called Too Many Tears, which I understand because it was featured on 2 different records. There's a version featured on the album Restless Heart, and then he re-recorded it for his Into the Light album. Now, the version that's on the Love Songs album, again, Too Many Tears on the Love Songs album, was the version from Into the Light, again, remixed and remastered for this compilation. That had a whole different lineup of musicians and everything else. The one that's on the Blues album here is a remix from the version of the song on the album Restless Heart. So I can kind of understand why there's 2 different pieces to that, why that's featured 2 different times, because it's a love song, but it's also very bluesy. The other song that appears on 2 of these compilations was a little confusing to me. Because because it wasn't on multiple albums, the only thing I can come up with is that maybe one was a remix of the album version, and the other was a remix of a single version or a single mix of the album. So let me see if there's any information on here. Okay, so I think that's what it is. Okay, so the song "Give Me All Your Love," which was a pretty big hit off the 1987 album, it is featured on the rock album on this one. And the version that's on the rock album is just a remix of, and a sprucing up, an updated version, I guess, if you will, from of the 1987 version, which is probably the most well known. The version that's on the blues album here, from what I'm reading, it says this version features a cracking solo from Vivian Campbell when he was with me in the Snakes. Super fun track. So I'm assuming this would be like the single version, which I've heard, on like re-releases of 1987 in various other places. So that's all I can assume, is that it's just an alternate version of the song, even though it really doesn't sound that much different from the one that's featured on the rock album, from the one that most people know. And I guess my issue also with it would be, most of these songs I can see the bluesy elements that are in there, even if they're more upbeat songs like "Steal Your Heart Away" or whatever. I can certainly see the bluesy elements. "Give Me All Your Love," to be honest with me, I don't hear anything blues in there at all. I mean, that album was, written and recorded and made specifically for that 1987 record, which was really big and bombastic and loud and crazy and fit everything that was going on in hard rock in 1987. But I honestly don't understand what it's doing on a blues album. There's nothing blues about that song to me. This is just my opinion. Somebody else might hear something different, and that's great. I just don't really understand. It's not that much different from the other version, so I don't know why it needed to be on here, and I don't really think it's that bluesy of a song. I think there's other songs that might have been better suited for this instead of putting that on here twice. It's just my opinion. On here too. So the last thing, I promise. The last song on this record is "Crying in the Rain." Now, anybody that knows Whitesnake knows that's a song that has been around the Whitesnake catalog for a long time. The original version is on the 1982 Saints and Sinners album. He then re-recorded it, much like "Here I Go Again," for the 1987 record. And it's, of course, been remixed and spruced up for the blues album, which is right here. Now, the cool thing about this is, like I said, that 1987 album was everything, that was great about what was going on in 87. It was big, it was bombastic, it was loud, it was just crazy, right? And I love listening to "Crying in the Rain," and I love, just jamming with John Sykes on that guitar solo. But, with everything just being so loud, it just always seems like, it's a bit of a muddy sound, That's, again, just my opinion. What I like what they did here on this album is they really cleaned up the mix on that, so you can really hear all the individual instruments, and everything sounds sharper and crisper. And one of the great things is that guitar solo actually sounds clean, so you can really hear every single note he's hitting. Now, I don't play guitar, so I don't really know what notes those are or anything else, but I just think it's fantastic. You can finally hear all the finger tapping and everything else that he was doing in there, and it's all crystal clear. So that was a highlight for me, the last song on the record. When I heard it earlier today in the car, I had it super loud, and I thought it was really, really cool to finally be able to hear that solo note for note, without any muddiness or any crazy distortion or anything going on. So that was pretty cool. Again, I think that's all I have this time. So if you like what you heard, check out my channel. I've got some other videos out there. I've got other unboxing videos. I've got my Inside the Vinyl series, my Lost Classic series, which I think are the same thing. I've also got some concert footage from some different festivals and stuff that, I'd gone to when we were still allowed to go to concerts. And I've also got, if you're into disc golf, I've got some very mediocre disc golf videos featuring some very mediocre players, myself included. So check those out. And if you like any of those, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm hoping to have more content as things go. I'm really still trying to figure out my audio-visual elements here. Right now it's a cell phone and a little, this little headphone microphone thing here that I hope is working right now. But again, subscribe to my channel, check me out, check out my other videos, and we will see you next time. Peace out.